Okey-dokey. We're good to go?
Yes.
Okey-dokey. Good afternoon, everybody. Want to welcome you to the Public Works Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, Tuesday at March 28th at 2023. And we are meeting remotely. And just for the public's information, there will be no voting during these meetings, no advice giving. And this meeting is strictly for discussions and information. We have 3 items on our agenda today. Number one, I'm sorry, Chris, I put you number 2 for goodness sakes. It's number 1 on our agenda is resolution authorizing the purchase of what is this? Net Motion full platform with remote technical services via CDW-G. Before you go, I do have to announce who's here. For the Public Works Committee with myself, Bonnie Katz, Councilman Randy Allison, Councilman Vincent Palizzi. We have Janice Frank, and we have John Sanders, our city engineer, and you, Chris Block, our city IT person. So you are up and running now, Chris.
Okay, what you have before you is a resolution for the purchase of NetMotion software. This is the software that we use for the patrol cars to communicate back to the servers within the city. It does involve encrypted connection between the two, so it's nice, safe, and secure. This is something that lapsed between my predecessor and myself. We have not been in compliance since August of 2020. No, let me do the math. 2021. Right before I came on board, and there is a new version of it out. You will see that the total price tag for this initial purchase is $5,381.49. The recurring yearly cost would be $3,212.25. This first year will come out of capital projects. Subsequent years will come out of contracted services. This was reviewed by council.
You mean by city solicitor?
Yes.
Okay, not council.
I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Well, a counselor,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
by city
Yeah.
solicitor. Okay, questions, Vince, Randy?
Don't have any questions.
Chris, the communication is this verbal communication or is this?
No, it's digital. It's a VPN connection between the patrol cars and the city servers. So when they can get into such things as Spillman and E-Force, like we talked about earlier, and
Right.
their time sheets when they're tracking their time, where they're at, and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just covered on that. Yeah, it's good to have that secured.
Yeah, we're using a version now that we really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. House cleaning.
Yes. Almost done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chris, does this keep track of where the police cars are?
No, it does not.
Okay,
That would
Is
be
there
part of the GPS function that would be with either the MVRs or on the actual cars themselves.
but that is being done. That can be done, right?
That I do not know. That is not my purview.
That's not your pay grade right now,
No, that would be something that you would want to ask
the chief.
PD admin.
Okay, I was just curious. So, the money will be in the information technology budget next year for the 3,000, and this is coming out of capital budget. You said this year
Yes.
for 5,381.49.
That is correct.
And the contract is signed. I really have no questions with this because it's something that, like you said, it's housekeeping and needs to be done. And these are the things, as I said in the previous meeting, got to get these things done, because in 2 years from now, you're not going to have the money for any of this.
Well, this is something that had been ongoing for the last number of years. It's just that it lapsed between the time Mr. Cooley left and I came on board. And it was
Okay.
one of those things that I have to admit that I let fall through the cracks because I did not know about it. So, I mean, I'll take the shot for that.
Oh, no problem, no problem. At least it's getting done. You know, there's so much on everybody's plates at times that things do get lost in the translation.
Mhm.
And I think everybody can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the house, and will this be up and running?
After Friday, probably within a week or so.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just getting it done.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I thank you very much. If there's no other, oh, Vince, I see your hand.
John, did you have your hand up too, or are you just reaching for something?
I was stretching, thank you.
Oh, okay, sorry. No.
Put your Pilates in.
Get my Pilates in.
He's in his jail cell, so he has to do as much exercise as he can.
Mr. Black, I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
curious, is there gonna be any kind of an annual maintenance fee or anything for this software?
Yes, that would be the $3,212.25.
Okay.
That's to
Nope, there it
cover a
is.
total of 25 vehicles, which is more than what we have in the patrol cars now. We're currently licensed for a total of 21 devices, which is a mix of the PD admin for the remote access into their systems and also the patrol cars themselves. But we've added a couple of patrol cars. And this was the next price point break was at 25.
Gotcha. And then, you have to forgive me because initially when Bonnie opened it up for questions, I said I didn't have any, and then I flipped the page and see I do have a couple questions jotted.
You lost.
The other question I have is, I know, so the police force just received grant funding
Mhm.
for a couple of things. Is there any other way that we're able to utilize some of the grant funding for the
This
annual
was not,
maintenance?
this was not written into that particular grant.
Oh, okay,
Grant
Just
is
checking.
specific for certain items. Yes.
gotcha. Okay,
Otherwise, yeah, I'd take their money too. So,
yep, all right. Thank you.
You're
Now I
welcome.
have no further questions, Bonnie.
Okay. And nothing from you, Randy? We're done?
No more. No,
Okay.
don't have anything else.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. We'll go on to
Thank
the
you.
next item on the agenda, number 2, resolution for designation of agent FEMA pre-disaster mitigation grant resolution. John Sanders, you are up.
Thank you, Ms. Katz. So obviously, our levy system got all the way to Washington DC, and Congress voted to give the city of Williamsport $8 million in a federal earmark. So we have that somewhere. Somebody has it somewhere, and federal government has it. Federal government decided to delegate that responsibility down to FEMA, whom then delegates that responsibility down to PEMA to administer the money. What you have before you is a resolution that allows us to start tapping into those funds, one-page resolution that essentially says that Mr. John Sander, myself can do the online paperwork to be able to tap into these $8 million levy funds that we have for us. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I already have 4.8 million of it set up in the federal e-grant system. Once I get obviously hopefully 4 votes to say yes Thursday night. This goes in the e-grant system and we can start the process of getting some of this levy funding, which itself takes several months because the federal government has to do their own checks to make sure it's being spent properly, even though that may or may not have most likely has already been done, just to let you guys know. So it takes several months. I know it's a lot of red tape for this funding to come to us, but this needs to be signed by the city. So that's it in a nutshell.
Questions from the committee? I see Vince is shaking his head. I see Randy, I think,
No, I don't have any. No.
Thought you
You'll
were
get
shaking.
more money.
Gee, John, you're gonna be responsible for $8 million here. Putting your
There's
name
many
on.
checks and balances along the way. I'm just the one that's entering it into the computer system and then it's it does require, just to let you know, this is a 75-25, 75, this is important. 75% federal funding has to be matched with 25% local match that's non-federal. So it's very important to know that.
Okay, so where are we getting that money from?
That's fantastic. I'm not giving you specifics right now. I'm just letting you know, I need the okay to start using the system. That's what this is. That's a fantastic question, Ms. Katz.
So can we get this from the county, even help with the county?
We could do, that's a very realistic possibility. We have county money, we have Act 13 funding that could work. Liquid fuels can't. What else?
Liquid fuel is depleted already.
CDBG possibly, depending on how we'd have to run it through CEDACOG. And then HUD, obviously.
How much are we looking at? How much do we need?
We have 8 million.
I know, but how much is the 25%?
2.
Yeah, it's just
2 million.
25% of 8 million.
And I would think that that would certainly be able to get that out of Act 13. I'm not sure, John, not that I'm giving advice in any way, shape or form,
You can.
just so everyone knows, we don't give advice during these committee meetings.
No advice.
But I
Directions
think-
maybe.
So,
I think that there's possibility for Act 13 funds.
so
Okay.
John, then, we'll be withdrawing $8 million and putting in 2 million of our own.
That's correct.
So in the end, we'll be spending $10 million on the levy.
Correct.
Okay. So that'll get us a good ways into the project.
It will, but like I mentioned, there are checks and balances along the way. So for instance, WSP has a relief contract out to bid right now. I think it's done in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a low bidder that's within range. Even if they do and the county accepts it, I still have to go through the government red tape of submitting everything to
Yeah.
FEMA and PEMA so they can give their okay to finally release the funds. So there's, even though WSP has already done this themselves, it has to be done. I mean, and we'll try to make sure that FEMA and PEMA are aware of this, that's already been done, but it seems as though they have their own process. It's kind of like a lot of government red tape. I'll just leave it at that, government red tape.
Okay. So the grant can be used on engineering as well as the infrastructure itself.
Yes, sir. The grant can be used for engineering. It can be used for construction. It can be used for planning. It can be used for anything levy related that they approve.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Thanks, John.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully we could use a lot of this for also getting started. I would hate to see it go for engineering, to be truthful with you. I would like us all to see something that's accomplished at this point. Digging the dirt. Okay, because you came up with this thing, what, a couple of weeks ago? Which one is it? Which government agency wants us to raise the dike? The levy?
There is a potential that, so there are certain sections of our levee system, for instance, the ones along like Humming Creek that were designed, which is important, just so you guys are aware, designed and built first.
Right.
Those had lesser standards than the later sections. So some of those may or may not be high enough to contain the design storm. Okay, so
And
but
that's an
that's all
expensive
trumped
treatment.
right. That's all trumped right now and paused right now by the SQRA, semi-quantitative risk
okay.
assessment. So that's all already known. That's already been known for 6 to 8 years. Now we've taken that information, bundled it up, given it to the Army Corps of Engineers to verify the work that WSP has already done. And if it does, if they are substandard height wise, which is nothing, this is nothing out of the nothing crazy. This happened in 2 other municipalities that are within 2 hours of us recently in the last 10 years. it's not the end of the world. In fact, there's probably a lot of levee systems in the United States that may be slightly substandard for the design storm. So it's not the end of the world, but it is incredibly important to know it, be able to say it and fix it. So.
Right.
Okay, sounds good, but we knew they were part of this, the levy that had to be raised. We just knew that. We were just hoping that we could get away with it, with not having to do it. But I think the information that we talked about in the previous meeting, we'll find out exactly where we stand. I think that's what we're all looking forward to anyhow, to see what that information is going to come forward with. Any other questions from anybody?
I just wanted to clarify on that. That final say doesn't come from the city. It doesn't come from WSP. That will come from the Army Corps themselves. So they're doing this deep dive in the what's called the SQRA process. So that final decision will come from the Army Corps of Engineers. Thank you.
Well, I think it should, from the standpoint of they're the ones who built the levee to begin with. I mean, that's been a touchy point for how long? But at least we're going to get information from them at this point. If there's no other questions, we will go on to the last item on the agenda, any related items. Does anybody have anything to add to anything today?
No. I have
Nope.
nothing.
I don't.
Right. If not, then I will take a motion to adjourn. Good
So
short meeting, my goodness.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you all on Thursday, guys.
See ya.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.